Okay, hello everyone. It's 11:30, so I think we'll get started. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Megan Enticknap, and I'm the Deputy Head of the Middle and Senior School at Elmwood School. I would like to welcome all of you to our session that is geared towards our grade 6 students and families. And we call this a transition session because we consider this year a transition year for our girls, because at Elmwood, our middle school starts at grade 6. So after grade 5, the students are welcomed into our middle school program, and our middle school runs from grade 6 to grade 8. So we have some brand new families to Elmwood who are joining us on the call today. So not only am I welcoming you to grade 6 and to the middle school, but welcoming you to Elmwood and to our school community. And we also have families and students on the call who have been at Elmwood in the junior school. And so this welcome is to you to say welcome to our middle school. And we are so excited to have all of you joining us for this academic year. So the academic year of 2020-21 is definitely going to look slightly different than we've started our school years in the past. But having said that, we feel so confident. And if you've been joining any of our other webinars, we have been sharing information about our return to school protocols and about the things that we're putting in place to ensure a safe and healthy return to school. And that also we're supporting girls who are returning to school physically, as well as at-home learners who make that choice to stay at home. So on this call, we're not going to get into the in-depth discussions about some of those health and safety protocols because they have been addressed on other calls that we are aware that many of you have been on. We want to focus this session really on thinking about the excitement for these girls as they join the middle school, and on some of the things that we think would be helpful for the parents and the students to know as they join grade 6. So one of the things about Elmwood that doesn't change, whether you're in the junior school, the middle school, the senior school, is our values. So the Elmwood values are incredibly important regardless of what section of the school you're in. And I want to assure you that if you're a brand new student to the school, or whether you're a student who's coming from junior school and worried about what the changes are going to be like, that these values don't change as you move through our program. So these are the values that we uphold. These are the values that we believe in and that we aim to ensure every family and every student is part of. We treat each other with respect. We act with integrity. We are always looking to be innovative and to find ways of solving problems together through collaboration, lots of communication, and working as a team. And we take responsibility for our actions and for being members of a community together. So these values do not change whether you have come through from the junior school up to the middle school as a brand new family. I think you're going to find that the Elmwood community is pretty incredible. So for our session today, as I said, we're really going to keep it focused on the questions and the needs that you have as grade 6 students and grade 6 parents of girls coming into grade 6. And so what I would like to do to start off with is introduce two members of our grade 6 team. They are going to be talking to you a little bit more about some of the details around the programming and the typical day for our grade 6 students. So we have with us on the call today, Miss Nadine Kilbertis and Miss Erin Mulcahy. Both of them are grade 6 teachers in our Elmwood Middle School. They have been working with grade 6 students at Elmwood for many years. They're very experienced with the curriculum and also with the social emotional needs of girls at this stage in their development. So I'm very thrilled to have them on the webinar today, and they're going to take us into the next slide. So if I could ask Miss Kilbertis, Nadine, to jump in. Thank you
Sure.
so much.
Thanks, Megan. Hi, everyone. I'm Nadine Kilbertis. I'm one of the grade 6 homeroom and subject teachers. I actually made the transition to the middle school about, I think it's 14 years ago. I started off in the junior school, And I jumped over to the big school, as we call it, yeah, around that time. So yeah, it's been a while I've been with grade sixes, but I love transitioning them over. I know a lot of them, we had chats with them in the spring, and a lot of them are very nervous about coming over. But what myself and Cheryl Tweedy as homeroom teachers are excited about is just, easing that nervousness and getting them excited about being in the big school and being at grade sixes and middle school. So that's a little bit about myself. Erin, do you want to introduce yourself?
Oh, sure. So I'm Erin Mulcahy, and I've been teaching in the middle school for a long time too. At first teaching more of the grade 7s and 8s, and then a few years ago I made the move down to teach the grade 6s, and it's a really great age to teach. I find this year I'll be teaching the grade 6s their math and science, and the school started timetabling like that a few years ago, and I found being able to teach students both their math and science is truly wonderful, because there are just so many natural connections between those two subjects. And when you teach both subjects to the same group of students, you can help them make those very authentic connections. And it's really the basis for some great discussion in class.
Yeah, so Cheryl Tweedy is the other homeroom teacher. Unfortunately, she couldn't be here, but her and I have worked together for a very long time as homeroom teachers. So we've got lots of great activities and things planned for the girls to transition them over and just to help them out and to flourish as middle schoolers as they work through the year as grade 6 students. So if you want to go to the next slide, some of you might be wondering, and I know some of the grade 6s might be wondering, what does a typical day look like for grade 6? Well, this year it's going to be just slightly different, but pretty much the same. So what we're going to be starting off with is their period 1. So period 1, they would go straight to that, and then we would have homeroom time, and that homeroom time right after period 1 is just time to get to know each other and do more in-depth activities with them. We do, as physical education teachers, like to get outside, like to get active with the girls. So we do a lot of that, but we're also there to support them in their needs when it comes to, organizing themselves, also, building social relationships, and whatever it may be. We also are going to be offering extra help during those times as well throughout the day. So again, we're just there for the girls to assist them in every aspect of their school life. They will be mainly based, we now call it the grade 6 hallway. So just last year we moved our rooms, and so we're now in kind of a hallway where it's just us grade 6s. The 2 homerooms are right there, and that's mainly where all of our classes are going to be. So they'll be in either one of those 2 rooms. And again, as a grade 6 team, I'll be seeing them for phys ed, for core French. Miss Tweedy's going to see them for humanities and English and phys ed, and like Erin Mulcahy just said, science and math. So they're going to see a lot of us, so hopefully they're excited about that. But yeah, so again, they'll be moving through those 2 classrooms. We simplify the schedule. You might get a very complicated schedule sent home to you, but we like to simplify the day into 5 periods. So period 1, period 2, and then they have their lunch, and then they have an enrichment block, which we'll talk about in a second. And at the end of the day, we have period 4 and period 5. So again, we just like to simplify it and just makes it easier for the girls in terms of going through their day, and also when organizing themselves with things that they need to bring in for school each day. We do alternate from a day 1 to day 2. I believe that's similar in the junior school. So that won't change too much, but again, the biggest difference is that they will have a few more teachers for different subjects, subjects that they're more experienced in and passionate about. So that's pretty much what a daily schedule is going to look like. And again, just slightly different this year with the switch up with homeroom right after period 1. Erin, did you want to talk a little bit about the enrichment blocks?
Well, I am really excited about the enrichment block. In the past, we've always, as a math department, offered extra help. And so now one of the blocks for our enrichment time every week for each of the 2 grade 6 homeroom classes, I will have that whole enrichment class with that group. And at that time, we'll have time to answer any questions students might have. And I know from being on the calls in the spring with the students that were at Elmwood in grade 5 and getting ready to make the transition, there were some questions that did come up about extra help, because the students, you could tell that they were just already thinking about the academics and they wanted to make sure that the support was there. So I said that at the time, and I just wanted to reiterate here that there is lots of help available. If anyone has any questions outside of class, we can answer those questions at many different times during the day. But this year, it's really super that we have this extra special time that we have set aside for a study hall. At that time also, especially at the beginning of the year, if students, we're going to encourage students to always bring a novel with them as well. And that way, if they don't have any particular questions at that time, they can enjoy a novel that they're reading. And I know from last year's grade 6s, we had a number of students who were really avid readers, and they loved to have a little break during the day to pull out the novel that they were working on. So I think that block when we have the study hall time will be a really useful time for everyone, and I hope that the new grade 6s are looking forward to that, because I really am.
And also another thing that they're going to be having, instead of an actual period class for music, they will have music during that enrichment block as well. So that as well is going to look a little different this year, but we have a new music teacher and she seems really excited to teach the girls about music. So that's going to happen during that enrichment block. And again, the enrichment block is right after lunch. And also we have homeroom time too. So like Miss Mulcahy said, it could be dear time, drop everything and read. It just depends on what's going on. We sometimes bring in Miss Fraser, who helps the girls with, getting themselves organized when it comes to exams, getting themselves prepared, what type of learner they are. So we have different teachers that may come in to speak to them regarding different things that we're doing within that month, or maybe within a class. At the beginning of the year, with laptops and all that too, we will have Mr. Perot come in and also get the girls all set up, making sure that they understand Schoology and things like that. So that's what the homeroom period is kind of used for throughout the year. If we can go to the next slide. Oh, and again, we will get the girls all set up and make sure that they understand their schedule. So within 2 weeks, they'll know it. They'll be good to go. So what school supplies are needed in grade 6? So Miss Tweedy and myself and Miss M have created a school supplies list. It is in a Google Doc. And again, over the weekend, we're going to add our girls to our homeroom groups. And so we are going to provide this link. So I'm sure you've got all the necessary and regular stuff, but there might be a few other items that we've added on this year, just because we don't necessarily have access to the art supplies that we normally would. So if the girls can bring in those types of things, because we do like to do a lot of activities and projects that require art supplies. So again, that will be based on whatever the project or activity is, and also dependent on the teacher as well. But those are just some suggestions that are going to be in that document. So we will have that for the girls linked on their Schoology group for homeroom. Now, I just briefly talked about laptops and Schoology use. So again, we really use Schoology once we move over to the middle school. And I know the girls were starting to get used to it in grade 5. But we're really going to make sure that the girls understand what a valuable tool it is. And especially in these times in online learning, we have definitely dove in and really used it to its full extent. So we're going to make sure that the girls are all organized in their courses and know how to properly use it when it comes to planning their time. And laptops as well, and going over the appropriate use for the laptops and all that as well. We'll make sure that we go over that with the girls within that first 2 weeks. Erin, do you want to add anything there?
I was just going to say, just adding on to what you were saying about the laptops in Schoology, during that first week too, we will, I know in math and science, we use a number of online programs. And so during that first week, I will help the students to get set up with their passwords and usernames, so that so they can start getting accustomed to these different programs that we'll be using this year.
Okay, next slide, please.
Okay, I'm going to jump in here for a minute. Thank you so much, Ms. Kilbertis and Ms. Mulcahy, for going over some of the details around the program. It's so exciting to think about school starting up next week. I'm getting excited just listening to you. The Elmwood Bistro, we did want to just mention, it has been mentioned in other sessions. So knowing again that some of you have been joining those other webinars, I won't go into too many details, but the Bistro is a wonderful service that Elmwood provides to families. It provides meals to students who are on the meal plan. In the past, we were also able to offer more kind of a la carte type service. For this year, because of the restrictions around health and safety and accurate records and documentation of things, we are starting off by offering the full meal plan option. And this can be joined up by a month basis or the full year. I do want to mention that the if we're hoping not, but if we were to have to go into a school closure period again, if that was mandated by the ministry, that all the money would be refunded for any meals that were not used. So we do want to reassure people that you don't have to worry about that. So if your daughter wanted to be on the meal plan, we can provide you with sample menus as well if you are still making a decision about that. The food is incredible, I will say. The bistro, actually, this past week, we had all the teachers doing professional development over this whole past week. And preparing the school for the return of all the families and the students. And the bistro, in order to test their processes for food delivery and service, actually prepared food for the staff. And I have to say, it's delicious, it's healthy. And if it is something that you're interested in and you're still trying to decide, definitely let us know and we can share more information with you. And so that would be the lunch meal plan as well as an afternoon snack. There won't be a morning snack provided. So of course the cost of the program will reflect that. So the girls should be bringing in their water bottle as well as their morning snack that they will be eating outside or with their cohort. And then for lunch, they will be able to either take the lunch they brought from home or collect their lunch from the bistro. To start with, we're going to be eating lunch outside in our designated areas with our grade cohorts. If there's bad weather or when it gets too cold to do that, the girls will be eating in their homeroom hub. So that was just a little bit of information about the bistro. And then I believe the next slide is a little bit of detailed information about the uniform for this year. So because we cannot have the girls changing at school, so normally they would come to school in their Elmwood uniform. And then if they had PE or if they had a physical activity that they were joining, they would change into their Elmwood gym uniform. Now, we're not having the use of change rooms, and that is again for reasons of contact tracing and ensuring that the rooms that are being used have an accurate record of who was in them and interacting with whom. So no change rooms for this year. So that means that if any girl who has a phys ed class on a given day or is aware that they have maybe, as Ms. Kilbertis mentioned, through the enrichment or co-curricular program, they might have more of a physical activity that's happening at their lunch break or enrichment block. They can wear their Elmwood gym uniform to school on any given day. So the girls need to kind of just make that decision in the morning about what their day looks like and what they need to wear for that day. And they can either wear the summer uniform or the gym uniform. and that will be their choice. And as long as they're in one of those uniforms, that's no problem. I will say that for new students, I know the uniform can sometimes be a bit stressful if you're still waiting for items, or maybe there wasn't a size that you needed. So please know that we do understand that in the first couple of weeks, as everyone's getting used to things and sorting out their uniform pieces, that we are very flexible, so that we don't want anyone having a terrible start to the morning because they're missing a uniform piece. So we will definitely work with you to kind of help get all those items in order. And other
sorry, if I could just jump in for the gym uniform, since I'm PE teacher. And we will be sending this out to all of our phys ed students. Since all of our classes will be outside, another extra item, a few clothing items actually that we're suggesting that kids have is rain gear. And then when it comes to the winter months, making sure they have warm outdoor gear and boots, because we are going out no matter what. Also when it's nice and sunny, hat, sunscreen, and things like that. So just another little extra thing that we're going to be sending out to all our PE students is that they do need to have just weather appropriate clothing in addition to their gym uniform.
Thank you very much, Ms. Kilbertus. That's great. The girls are also with the summer uniform able to wear the fleece. So I just wanted to mention that. So if it is a cooler day and they have the fleece, then they can wear that over their summer uniform or over their gym uniform. So, but as Ms. Kilbertus said, because we are going to be utilizing our outdoor academic spaces and also having all of our gym classes outside, there will be no physical gym classes happening in the building. So the need for kind of having that weather appropriate clothing will be really important. So thank you. Okay, I think we can go to the next slide. So that is the material that we wanted to share with you today. I think we're all aware that there's a real buildup of excitement, and we feel it too. There's probably also a lot of information overload. So we wanted to keep this kind of to a level where we hope that we've answered some questions and given you a sense of the excitement we feel, and also the things that you want to be thinking about to be ready for next week. But we will also allow, if there's any other questions, or Ms. Irwin-Jackson, if there's anything in the chat that we've missed in terms of questions, if you could flag it to us as well, that would be great.
I think we've been keeping on top of the questions in the chat. There may be more. There's one question here about the days that they have PE.
Okay, I can answer that. On what days do they have PE?
Mm-hmm.
So again, we follow a day 1, day 2 schedule. So I'm trying to remember now the schedule.
Mm-hmm.
So the grade 6s, both classes have it on the same day. I believe it's a day 2. And we start on the Wednesday, we start on a day 1, so it will be Thursday. So not to worry, we will make sure that the girls are well aware of when they have PE. I may suggest actually on that very first day, even though we don't have PE, for the girls to maybe bring some running shoes, because Miss Tweedy and I do like to get outside. Well, and we will be outside actually every day for recess after lunch. So yeah, so PE would be every other day. So it just depends on the week. We work on a week 1, week 2. So if it's a week 1, we start on a day 1. If it's a week 2, we start on a day 2. So again, with that simplified schedule, we'll be giving that to the girls. We're going to post everything up on Schoology. We'll give them reminders. So the girls will be well aware of when they have PE. And again, when it comes to the weather, our goal is to check the weather the night before and post a reminder. Hey, don't forget your rain gear. It looks like it's going to sprinkle on us tomorrow. So I hope that answers that question.
Yeah, that's great. One thing I will say, I'm not sure if you've all had a chance to access, but on our parent portal, which you access from our website, in the top navigation, the very top, it says communities, and you kind of scroll down, you go to Elmwood Parents. So that page has all kinds of kind of practical information for school. And at the very top of that, we've posted the campus reopening logistics pages, for which we have 5 different ones. So for this group, it would be the middle school page. And that really is a kind of a full listing of, it has links to the bistro menu, it has links to the uniform requirements, it has links to all the forms that we need to have completed for the first day of school. So that's really where we're kind of centralizing all that information. So I will add the supplies link that Ms. Colbertus just shared. I will add that to that page too, so you have easy access to that. But hopefully that can answer a number of questions. Also, we have our on-campus orientation on Tuesday, and traditionally that has just been for our new students, but this year it's for all new students plus our returning students. So any returning students that want to come, it's certainly not compulsory, but new students don't have to register because we know they're coming, but from a contact tracing standpoint, any returning student who wants to come needs to register for that, and that link is also on the page, and I will post that separately to Schoology as well.
Thank you so much. I did want to just mention about the question about shoes. So with the uniform, the girls can choose to wear either the black polishable shoes or their a dark color or black athletic running shoe. So obviously if they're in their PE uniform, they're probably going to choose to wear the athletic shoes. But even if they're in their summer uniform, because we are not able to leave items at school, that was the question. So the shoes that they bring or wear are going to have to go home with them, because we're not using lockers to start. And also for cleaning protocols, the cleaners need to be able to come in and not have items that are sitting around and left under desks or in corners or those kinds of things. And so we, as Miss Kilberta said, we realize that as you know, the weather gets bad, we will be revisiting this. We will be looking at how we manage that in terms of the aspect that we have to make sure the lockers tend to be an area of congregation. So this is why we have to kind of look at how we're going to manage that. And so to start with, we are asking that everything goes home, but the girls can wear either the black polishable shoes or the dark color black running athletic shoe with the uniform. So we hope that that helps, at least to start. That's where we'll go. I'm just checking if we have any other questions. So what I'll maybe end with is that because I know some girls will come to the Tuesday orientation. We're hoping, as Miss Irwin Jackson said, that all of the new girls will come. And then any returning girls who are available and interested are also very welcome to join us. Wednesday morning, the girls will be going straight to their homeroom to meet with their teacher. So then they will be able to meet the full cohort of students that they are with. And they will also at that time be going over a lot of the protocols and the kind of the different structure of things because of the pandemic and COVID-19. So in terms of bathroom use, in terms of hallway flow. So I know we haven't gotten into those details on this call. As I said, we didn't want that to be the focus, but I do want you to know that on Wednesday morning, all of the students, including the grade 6 girls, will have a chunk of time with their homeroom teacher where we're going to be going over those things. So if anyone has lots of questions or feeling anxious or wondering kind of how that's all going to work, please don't worry, because we've ensured that you have a lot of time that morning where you'll be going over that together with your homeroom teacher. You'll also be visiting the outdoor spaces that your grade will be using for recess and for lunchtime and for physical activity time. And we're also going to have a welcome back assembly. And I will certainly be taking special mention of our new grade 6s to our middle school, because that is always such an exciting part of the school year that we have all these new girls joining us in grade 6. So we're really looking forward to that day. And then the last thing, Miss Irwin Jackson mentioned the forms. So because we will be using these outdoor academic spaces, the form that came home, I think it was about a week ago now, but we will be with a teacher supervisor taking girls for walks in the neighborhood or to nearby parks. And if you're not comfortable with that, or you don't want to have your daughter do that, there is an opt-out form that you need to return to say that you don't want your daughter leaving campus with a teacher. We would never be going very far off campus. It would just be to kind of, again, make use of our wonderful neighborhood. All schools are being encouraged at this time to get outside, to make the most of the outdoor learning environment. And so definitely our teachers will be happy to do that. And so then the form, it's an opt-out form. So if you don't do it, then we assume you're fine with us taking the girls off campus. So I just wanted to mention that.
Great. And the question about the screening form. So there is a link to our health screening tool, again, on that campus reopening logistics page for middle school. And the idea is that you will do that at home, but it's not something you have to complete and bring in. When your daughter comes, she will be asked as she comes into the school if she's done her screening, and asked to make sure that she didn't answer yes to any of the questions on the screening tool, but it's not something you have to bring in every day. But we're hoping that everybody kind of makes it a regular part of, their morning routine, print it out, put it on the kitchen table, and just make sure that you're asking those questions every day.
Jennifer, do you mind answering this one question that was just sent to me about the orientation day? It was just a question about timing. They're supposed to be showing up at 10:30 where they will sign in.
That's right. So it starts at 11. So it's just an hour this year. So it's from 11 until 12. If they come into the parking lot, Miss Marchand's going to have kind of a welcome tent set up. So they're going to go up to that tent, and that tent will be kind of on the plaza, just almost in front of the entrance of the big school here. It'll be easy to see. And then from there, they'll be directed onto the field. And we're going to have each teacher with a sign that has her name and grade, or their name and grade on it. And so the students will go to their kind of assigned sign. That's something you can talk about in a second, Megan. They'll go to that sign, they'll meet their teacher, they'll meet their classmates, and then have an opportunity to kind of run through those safety protocols that are going to be in place on Wednesday. They'll be able to practice kind of their route, how they go into the school, what pathway they take, and then just get a little bit of a comfort level with that before everybody's here on the Wednesday. Megan, do you want to talk about how girls are going to find out about their homeroom assignment?
Yeah, so as Ms. Kilbertus mentioned, they are setting up their cohort, the 2 homeroom groups, and we'll be inviting girls to join the Schoology groups for their homeroom. So they will kind of informally find out that way, and that's going to be happening over the next couple of days, where they should get the invite to that group, and that will be sent by the homeroom teacher. And then once they're in that Schoology group, all the members of the cohort will be there. But otherwise, the official messaging, so on Monday, all of the girls will receive an email that will tell them their homeroom teacher's name and their homeroom number, the physical room number in the building. And so when they come either for the orientation on Tuesday, they would be looking for that grade sign with that teacher's name. And then if they're coming on Wednesday, when they come to school, they would be kind of saying to Miss Marchand at the entrance, I'm going to Miss Kilbertus's grade 6 homeroom. And then they'll be told kind of the direction to go in the school to get to that room number. And then on the Tuesday, which is our orientation day, all of the full schedule, like their timetable that Miss Kilbertus and Miss Mulcahy talked about, will be available. So at that time they would see, which, as Miss Kilbertus said, for new students coming in, it can look a little bit overwhelming the way our timetable looks, because it's a middle senior school kind of timetable. So the girls will be able to see that timetable, but until they meet and start discussing on Wednesday with the homeroom teachers, it might look a bit overwhelming. So please remember that what they can see on my backpack on their student account on Tuesday is their timetable, but it will be A simplified version is given to the grade sixes by the homeroom teachers as well. So Monday, finding out officially about the homeroom teacher and the room number. Tuesday, you can access the full timetable on my backpack. And then Wednesday, it will be more fully explained and simplified by the homeroom teachers. Okay, so I don't see any more questions. Please know, though, that communication is key. And so you can email any of us at any time if you have questions or want clarification on anything. And so we are really looking forward to working with you and learning with you, and very excited to see everybody next week. So thank you to the teachers who joined us today, and to Miss Irwin Jackson for moderating the discussion and running the slides. And hope everyone has a fantastic long weekend, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Looking forward to next week.
Bye, everyone.